Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how to make these Chinese style firecrackers. Let's go over the materials y'all need for it. First and foremost, you're going to need some hand-rolled tubes, plaster of Paris, your flash powder, reliable 2mm fuse, magnesium oxide, magnesium chloride, and a solid brass rod or a solid rod that can fit inside your firecracker casing. Now, you need to plug the end of your firecracker tube with some plaster of Paris. So what you want to do is you want to grab some plaster of Paris and mix it with some water until you get a paste consistency. This is the consistency of plaster you want. It's kind of soft and shiny, kind of like cream, but hardish. Now you'll need to fit in your rod into your firecracker tube until there's a little more than a quarter of space left in the tube for you to plug. Now that you have filled your plaster plug for the tube, just let it sit for a few seconds until it solidifies enough to slide off the rod. Now you may remove excess plaster from the bottom to make it sit upright. And should sit upright like that. Now you measure out the flash amount you're using. In this case I'm using 80 milligrams. Now that you have filled your firecracker with flash powder, the next step is to grab some fuse. Cut your visco fuse to a 2-inch piece. Now gently tamp your flash down in the tube. And then you may shove your fuse into the flash like so. Now it's time for the air sealing clay. Now for that, you'll need 20% magnesium oxide, 10% magnesium chloride hexahydrate, and 70% plaster of Paris. Here's what the procedure is. Okay, let's start. Alright, that's 2 grams of magnesium oxide, 1 gram of magnesium chloride, and 7 grams of plaster of Paris. Since I am making a small batch, I am using a mortar and pestle. So I have added my magnesium oxide and magnesium chloride together, and now I'm going to mortar and pestle this until it's fine enough. Now you must thoroughly mix the calcium oxide and chloride mixed with the plaster of Paris. Now you should have something that resembles slightly moist flour. Now tamp and fill the tube with this clay until you get to your desired plug height. Just tamping like this will not be enough to make it settle solid. To combat that, you'll need to gently tamp using this thin rod. In this case, I'm using the back of a punk stick. Just gotta tamp it in there, not too hard, but just like gentle until it's compact. Here's what the firecracker looks like after I gently tamp down the firecracker and use the punk rod to gently ram it down. So it's like a nice clay plug. If my camera will focus, I can show you better. There we go. Yeah, see, it's clean. It's not really messy on the outside much. You could just use like a wet, damp cloth to like kind of clean it up or whatnot. Now, for maximum strength, you're gonna let this sit out for at least a week or two. And thank you to Zhanghua for this recipe here for the air dry clay. Without it, things would be back to hot glue and cardboard. Okay guys, here's a batch I made a week or two ago. So as you can see, you can't really see it well, but the plug has become solid. These contain titanium, by the way. This little one contains 80 milligrams of titanium flash. Let's light that one first. Well, turns out that was a dud. Alright. This one contains 160 milligrams. Wow, I felt that one pretty good. Nice. Alrighty, that's it for the demo.